Welcome back to another video. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Another Spurs chat video with another three fantastic guests. I've got Ian, Craig and Noel with me. Welcome to the channel, all three of you. Welcome to everyone who is watching as well. In today's video, we're going to go through how we're all feeling as Tottenham Hotspur fans right now about our current manager, Jose Mourinho, about all of the names that are being bandied about as our next Tottenham Hotspur manager. We're also going to talk about, can Tottenham get that top 4 place? Can Tottenham get in the top 6? Can we get a Champions League place, a Europa League place, or indeed a Europa Conference League place? Which, of course, is going to be new for next season. We're also going to talk about the Carabao Cup final and preview the Everton game. Ian, let's start with you. How are you, Ian? Welcome back to the channel. How are you feeling as a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now?
Thanks. Thanks, Chris. Distraught, mate. Absolutely distraught. Suicidal. And I've had so much drink this year, I tell you, it's awful. You know? But roll on the end of the season. Let it get back to, get back to normality. That's what we need.
You're feeling that bad?
Normality. Oh, I'm totally pissed off with it. So I'm very annoyed. Sorry, I apologise then. I do apologise. No, it's shocking. It's absolutely shocking, mate. I tell you, there's no substance to that football at all, is there? Yeah, so that's my thought on it completely. I don't even think it probably is very difficult actually playing with no fans there, isn't it? In a big stadium like that. Yeah, that's got to come into it. But I'll tell you what, BT Sport broadcast 6 matches in a row, and I haven't got BT Sport, and I couldn't even be bothered to watch it, which is shocking.
Wow,
being honest,
you are down.
Yeah, but I still drink, so that's all right.
Craig, let's come to you. How are you feeling as a Tottenham Hotspur fan? Of course, we're going to come on and talk a little bit about the Manchester United game at the weekend, but generally, how are you feeling right now?
Probably the same as everybody else. Absolutely deflated, depressed, and just fed up with the same old every week. It just seems to be the same thing every week. We go 1-0 up, and then we get turned over or something happens. We can't kill games off. It's just the same thing every week, switching around the defence all the time. There's just no structure to anything. The players seem to give up halfway through the game. Players walking around, not wanting to know. And we'll get onto it, but I've changed my opinion on whether I'm Mourinho in and Mourinho out, which we'll get to later. But yeah, probably the same as Ian. Bit depressed and just fed up with it at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Noel, welcome to the channel for the very, very first time. Thank you so much for joining us from Ireland. How are you feeling as a Tottenham Hotspur fan right now?
Chris, just like the other two guys, Ian and Craig. Totally shambolic. My son Gary, who is a big Spurs supporter as well, I can't even ring him anymore. Every week it's the same. It's absolutely depressing. The standard of football is shocking. Just before I come on the channel, I've been watching the Liverpool Real Madrid match. Liverpool had 4 corners in the first 5 minutes. They go for games. Spurs, the quality of the football is shocking. I never thought that from a team that was very close to winning the league in 2016, went through 2017 undefeated at White Hart Lane. Brilliant team, maybe 1 or 2 players away from being a great team. Could have actually won the league that year, and to watch it now in 4 years, it is depressing. We were beating Liverpool 4-1 at Wembley in 2017. Yeah. Liverpool are playing for the semi-final of the Champions League. We're scrambling around trying to get into Europa League. I am totally annoyed and pissed off.
No, your good friend Dave Brown writes a question for you on screen here.
Yeah, let's see that.
Dave here. Noel, great to see you on the above show. Do you think Jose Mourinho will still be managing Tottenham next season?
No, I don't actually. I don't think that. I think I spoke to you last week, Chris, and I think you said if the Spurs supporters were in the stadium, they would have actually made their feelings known. I think it's the style of football is shocking, absolutely shocking. I don't know. I just think the guy is. I just don't think he can manage that group of players. Maybe nobody else could, but he certainly can't. And I think also, that his style of management, the way he bullies people, the way Dele Alli now is virtually an asset that was a year ago worth 50, 60, 70 million. You know, maybe Pochettino could rescue him for PSG. But I mean, what he's done to that lad, I think is shocking, terrible. To me, it's reminiscent of a couple of years ago, the way he was treating Luke Shaw at Manchester United, and you know, he's now one of the best fullbacks in the country. And,
yeah, but he actually already had been dropped out of the England squad a long time before that because he hadn't been delivering.
Yeah,
so
I mean, the squad was shocking, wasn't it? He had a shocking injury as well.
Yeah, true. But it just seems as though it's not just because of Mourinho that it's gone down, is it?
No, I think
it's probably the lack of investment.
I think it goes back to 2016-17. I mean, in 2016 we finished third in a 2-horse race. You know, I mean, Steph and Gary went to the Newcastle match and they got a player sent off and we were beaten 5-1.
Yeah, I mean,
I think they'd given up by that stage, though, hadn't they? Because they knew the league was lost. I think
it was schoolboy defending. I mean, they had you know, 10 players in the Newcastle half, but I mean, still, you know, third in a 2-horse race. I think it's gone down since then, really. No, not since they left White Hart Lane. I think it's gone really down.
Yeah, our best season was at Wembley, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the year before. We didn't lose a match at White Hart Lane.
Ian, let's come to you now. You know, the opinion amongst the Spurs fans is very mixed. You know, lots of people.
What about me?
You know, lots of people are saying about Jose. You know, they want Jose out. How do you stand on it? Because you know, Jose Mourinho recently said, you know, managers take time, you know, to build squads and get players in and play how, you know, the manager wants them to play. Are we expecting too much? Or, you know, for me, when you look at the Manchester United game, when you're chasing that game to get a result and then Moussa Sissoko comes on, it makes me question, you know, some of these decisions. But where do you stand on the whole Jose in or Jose out?
Well, I'm actually of the same opinion that I was all the way through. Is that I never seen Mourinho as a long-term bet. I think he's there purely to win a trophy. It's to break that curse of not being able to win anything. And I would happily have Poch back. The fact that he's going to be happy as Sandboy at PSG is beside the point. But I can only see Mourinho being there for 2 years anyway. He'll just win a trophy and then get out, and then we can have our club back. But that's what everyone was shouting for, wasn't it? To say, oh well, we're not a winner. So that's how I feel like that. I think, in all honesty, a lot of this is actually down to the chairman. If the chairman had invested the money in the squad instead of just in the stadium, you can't keep those players have gone so stale, you know. So everybody, you're trying to beat a drum, get them to change something. Well, I have a feeling that Mourinho probably was giving instructions to the players, and they're not doing it. I don't know what the other guys feel on that, but
Craig, how are you feeling about Jose? Because you said earlier on that you've changed your mind. You know, tell everyone your opinion.
Yeah, and you know what I'm about to say is not. I'm not laying the whole blame on Mourinho. It's clearly a mixture of a lot of things, but Jose is a big part of it. The board haven't invested with. You know, we've talked that to death. You know, Levy hasn't done his work properly in the transfer market, or Steve Hitchin hasn't. The players haven't stepped up. But I am firmly now, sadly, in the I just want Mourinho out. I was never really him in, but I was willing to give him a chance. And when he was here, while he's here, I've always been neither in nor out. I never really wanted him, but I thought I'll back him. You know, he's a manager and that's what you want. But let me just give you some stats I looked up today. You might have seen these on Sky. I don't know if they've done it. This is just something I've scribbled down. I've gone. This is pre-Mourinho. Most of these between 2000 and 2020. Currently, we've got 49 points from 31 games. Okay. Now, the nearest to that 49 points, discounting last season, we had 48 points after 31 games in 2006-07. When we finished 5th, and we ended up on 60 points. There's only been 2 seasons since then when we've had a lower points tally after 31 games, discounting last season again. 39 in 07-08 and 38 in 08-09. After every season since, we've had more points at this stage of the season. At 58, 53, 58, 57, 56, 54, 61, 68, 64, 61, and then 45 last year. So for both Mourinho's seasons, he's been here. Yeah, he didn't come till the November, the previous season, but after 31 games, we've had 45 points in 2019-20 and 49 points this season. Under Poch, after 31 games, we had 54 points and we finished 5th, 61 finished 3rd, 68 finished 2nd, 64 finished 3rd, and 61 finished 4th. Under Mourinho as well, this is the lowest points per game at this stage of the season since 2008-09. Oddly enough, we won a trophy in 2008, but that's the season after. And so under Mourinho, let me just say that again, it's the lowest points per game since 2008. And Chris, you've said all along, have we progressed? Clearly, from those statistics, we haven't even stood still. We've gone backwards, and we've gone backwards 13 years. I was willing to give this man, a couple of seasons, but I think John said it best on the last word on Spurs, if anybody's listened to that. Absolutely brilliant. About an hour in, he goes on a rant, but everything he said, spot on. And that actually, go and watch it. Chris put it on his channel, and it's brilliant. I do not trust this man in another transfer window either. I don't think he should be given funds or the trust to buy any more players, because regardless whether we keep him till next season, in my opinion, he's going to be gone within the year anyway, and we've wasted more money on players. I'd rather either pay him off and get somebody else in that we want in the summer and get an interim manager. Like John said, I'm totally for what he said. Somebody like Harry Redknapp to give us that manager bounce, because in my opinion, it's the only way we've got a chance of winning this cup final in a couple of weeks' time. Because I think Mourinho, for me, he's had his chance and he should have made an impact on it. To be honest, I haven't seen anything. So sadly, that's where I am now, Chris, with it, and I just want him out of the club as well.
Craig, I only spoke to you though on camera about a week ago, and you weren't Jose out then. So what has changed it for you? Just this result against Manchester United?
It was, to be honest, I've been wavering the last couple of weeks, but I was still in that camp. I wasn't sure. It was the Manchester United game, and actually listening to John on Last Word on Spurs made me suddenly realise, I never wanted this man really in the first place, but I was willing to give him a go because of his history, because of what he's done, because of the trophies he's won. If I may quote another channel, Holly Agombar, I watched what Abby had to say on that channel the other day, and I think Holly posted another video today, and Abby's comments were absolutely fantastic, and I totally agree with everything she said there. And I've just had enough of it, Chris. I'm at that point now where I don't think Jose can do it. Whether you think it's all Jose's fault, I'm not blaming him solely, but part of me just thinks he's lost most of the players. You can see it. You could see it Sunday. They weren't fighting. They weren't prepared to run through a brick wall for him. And that's it. They're not fighting for the badge. They're not fighting for the team. And we've seen it too many times before in Mourinho, his second spell at Chelsea, when he was at United, and now with us. Kind of knew it was going to happen, to be honest, although I hoped it wouldn't, but it is happening, and it's happening right now. And the cup final is the only thing we've got left, really, because I don't think we've got a chance of making top 4. The only chance we've got is with a new manager bounce, which, realistically, is that going to happen? Are they going to get rid of him and bring in Redknapp or somebody? No, I can't see it happening. So I think we're stuck with him. But yeah, sadly, that's my opinion. It's going to take a lot for me to change that opinion as well, Chris.
No, how are you feeling about current manager Jose Mourinho? Because, Jose Mourinho has come out and said, other managers get time. Should Jose Mourinho be given time? Because I think that a lot of us Tottenham Hotspur fans have expected trophies. I certainly have. When you see someone who has been there, gone and got the T-shirt everywhere, won trophies galore, his trophy record is second to none. Of course, all of us are going to expect trophies. Have we expected too much too soon? Of course, this rebuild, that Pochettino spoke about. Do you think that Jose Mourinho will be given the time for this so-called rebuild? And, it is a huge summer for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, isn't it?
Well, Chris, in my opinion, Jose Mourinho has been at a lot of clubs, and the common link that he's had at every club is lots of money. and he hasn't got that at Tottenham. So I actually agree with you to a certain extent that he should be given the time, but I do think he doesn't. He changes his team every week. He doesn't know his best defence. You know, he plays Rodon, Alderweireld, Dyer, discards Dyer for 3 or 4 weeks, brings back Sanchez, discards Sanchez, you know, totally throwing Bale under the bus. Didn't seem to want him in the first place. Discarded Winks, brings Vinicius in for a week or two, discards him. So I think the guy is searching for something. But the style of play last Sunday was shambolic. I think shambolic is a good description of what we were watching as Spurs supporters. I mean, and this is like, you know, we were 3-1 up against West Ham. We lost that game. Didn't lose the game, sorry. We drew that game. Gareth Bale had a great chance at that stage, you know, but it seems to have gone down from that game. The amount of bad, silly penalties were given away. Last minute goals in the last 5 minutes. You have the statistic, Chris. You know it better than me. How many goals they have conceded in the last few minutes of games. I mean, Pochettino's teams, I used to marvel at that they played for 90 plus minutes, and the amount of goals they actually scored in the last few minutes was incredible. So I just don't think Mourinho has got this bunch of players. And when I saw Sissoko coming on Sunday, I thought to myself, oh my God, you know, I mean, the guy hasn't scored a goal in 2 years. You know, he's a good hard worker. He's an athlete, but that's all. He doesn't really have a football brain. So we're dependent on people like Sissoko. Harry Winks is sitting in the stand. Dele Alli doesn't get a game. Gareth Bale comes on for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. What's any guy going to do in 10 minutes? I actually agree with Craig. I think he's shot. And you know, in previous times, I would have been one of those people that would give managers more time, but I don't think he can do it unless, you know, maybe, you know, there's a serious clear out of players. I believe that every great team has 7 or 8 really good players, maybe 1 or 2 great players, and maybe 3 average players. In Tottenham, it's the obvious. We might have 3-4 really class players, but the rest of them are bang average in my book. And I think there has to be a massive clear out there, and start bring back the likes of Skip and Sessegnon, and inject some youth into the team. I mean, there's no pace in the Tottenham team, none at all. We have pacey players like Son, but you know, we're trying to play on the break and break down 8 and 10 men defenses. You know, again, I made the point. I was watching Liverpool tonight. The speed that they moved the ball, the movement, the forward play, the 3 players they had up front. I don't know what the score is now. They might even lose the game. But the way they play the game, that's the way we used to play. And I think as Spurs supporters, you know, watching this tripe is appalling.
No, for you, how does Jose Mourinho turn this around and get the Spurs fans back on board? Because, as I said earlier, there are so many Spurs fans right now wanting Jose Mourinho out. You know, if Jose Mourinho delivers this League Cup, you know, in less than 2 weeks' time, and gets us a European spot for next season, has he done enough?
Well, is he got into like an Inter-Toto Cup? I mean, you said something about a Conference Cup. I only heard about that tonight myself. You had it on your link earlier on. What is it?
Yeah.
I mean, who plays in that? I mean, just
it's a
to be playing.
Yeah, the Carabao Cup winners. You know, in less than 2 weeks' time, they go into a Europa Conference League competition, which is a third-rate European competition, not regarded as one of the best competitions in European football. You know, it's a brand new competition for next year. But if Tottenham did win the Carabao Cup and we didn't finish in a league position to qualify for the Champions League or Europa League, we would be playing in that Europa Conference League competition.
Waste of time, in my opinion. They would be better. What night of the week is it played on? Tuesday, Thursday? I mean, you know, they'd be better off their players play. I mean, at the moment we've played 50 games this season, and I know that there's an awful lot of games in such a short space of time. But if Spurs don't get to Europa League, I wouldn't want to have anything to do with it. You know, watching second-rate football like that, third-rate football, the players will be better off playing, you know, a game on a Saturday, you know, Saturday, Sunday, back again, maybe a game midweek sometimes. But the amount of games recently has been absolutely horrendous. You know, and I think that is a factor as well. The Spurs players do look exhausted, really, to be quite honest with you.
Ian, let's come to you. Noel rightly says about the players there, the body language of some of the players. Do you think that the players are playing for Jose? Do you think that they are fully, doing exactly what Jose is advising at the moment?
No, but I don't think they're playing for the club either. I mean, you can't see many of them kissing the badge at the moment, apart from Harry and Sonny, can you really? You know? No, maybe it's actually, maybe I think he's actually probably let a lot of the, we've got a lot of young kids there, and they actually need encouragement to develop and grow and stuff like that. Now, the ideal situation would be to play them in like the FA Cup and the League Cup, stuff like Carabao Cup, what it's called now. But like, all of a sudden, everybody's heads down, you know? I can imagine that probably, you can imagine people like Harry Winks being there going, well, I don't want to stay here, I want to be off, I'm going to be gone, you know? You've actually got Aurier that's there as actually his agent putting him about all over the blooming place. So nobody really wants to be there at the moment. And I would imagine if Harry actually says he wants to stay there, I'd make him, I'd knight him, for God's sake. You know, I think he deserves everything for putting up with that, what he's playing around at the moment. No, they're not playing for him in the slightest. But then they weren't playing for Poch either. You know, we never won a game away from home in virtually a year, did we? You know, well, that is a shocking statistic for a top 4 team to not win a game away from home. So, no, I just think I think it needs to clear out all the way through. I actually think it needs players before manager. But if you want the manager to go, then fine. But you've got to clear out a load of players as well. Yeah.
For you though, Ian, is Jose Mourinho the right man to take Tottenham forward?
No, I think Jose Mourinho might get us a cup, but I'll tell you a name that I would actually put out there and I would consider, and that would be Scotty Parker. Not going to be expensive to do, not got a lot of experience, but we're at the bottom of the ladder as far as the rung as far as everything's concerned, and he's a clever tactical bloke, isn't he? You know, so. If you're not going to get like Julian Nagelsmann or something like that, then I would go for somebody young. I don't want someone like Eddie Howe, which is another touted name, isn't it? You know, because of the fact they're going to go for somebody cheap. I'd rather go for Scotty Parker if he was cheap. He'd have a lot more future. But no, Mourinho, I think he's there to just win a trophy and that's it. And then I'd happily say goodbye to him. But thank him, rather than being toxic and sort of like boot him out again, which is a shame. Because we're quite good at doing that at the moment, aren't we, really? Which is not good for us as a club.
Ian, with the likes of Harry Kane being frustrated, and you can see his body language, particularly after the last couple of games, away at Newcastle, home to Manchester United, very, very frustrated. He looks very frustrated to me. You know, in the summer, you know, what decision will he make?
I don't think he has much of a decision to make, does he? Because he actually ain't going to get there's no clubs that have got the money to pay the sort of money that Daniel Levy will want. And so all of us, Harry will stay. I don't think Harry will go. I think he'll stay. And I think he's such a model pro that I don't even think he'll throw his toys out the pram either. He'll recognise the situation and maybe give Spurs one more chance at doing it. But they've got to have a blooming good clear out next year. Then, but I can't see Harry won't. I can't see Harry going. 150 million. Who's got that sort of money? But get Big Sam in. Right. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, we've got to come to Craig now. Now we've got Big Sam in. Thank you for that, Matthew. Now, Craig, you said that you want Jose Mourinho out, and you can't see that him taking Tottenham forward anymore. You know, so many names are being branded about at the moment: Nagelsmann, Maurizio Sarri, Brendan Rodgers, Nuno Espirito Santo, Scott Parker. You know, the list is endless right now. You know, if Jose Mourinho suddenly do go, who would you like to see come in?
You know, I love Scotty Parker. I just think the job might be a bit too big for him at the moment, at this stage in his career. He's done a great job at Fulham. I might be wrong. I don't know. I might be doing him down. But he's only really just got his badges, isn't he, essentially? So perhaps in a few years' time, I don't know, he might be an option, but I'm not sure Scott Parker would be the answer. I think there'd be a lot of pressure on whoever comes into Tottenham. You know what I mean? But I do make you right. I do love Scott Parker. Personally, everybody's saying about Nagelsmann. I don't really know anything about the guy other than I like the football. When I've seen Red Bull Leipzig play, I think they're a really attractive team to watch. So he's obviously done something good there. So I wouldn't certainly be against him. Like Williams put there, Brendan Rodgers. Probably go for Brendan Rodgers. In fact, that would have been my choice when Poch left, Brendan Rodgers, if I'm honest. But I think we all knew which way it was going to go, and we ended up with Jose. But as I say, I was willing to give him a go. I wouldn't have gone for Sarri myself if you give me a choice, Chris. I don't. It doesn't instill me with I don't get excited much about that. I mean, looking back on some of the managers we've had over the years, like I looked up Christian Gross today to see if he was still alive. To be honest, because that
you
year,
don't want him back, do you?
Oh my God, no! I'm just saying, whoever those were dark days. Seeing him with his tube ticket and thinking, okay, cool, we got a winner here. Christ Almighty! No, I mean, it's not that bad yet, is it? But whoever takes the job is going to be under enormous pressure straight from the off. I think, because I don't think it really matters if we win the cup or not. If Jose goes, whoever comes in is going to be under pressure. So yeah, if you're asking, holding a gun to my head, and you give me one choice, I would love Poch back, and I would love to know what he would say if Daniel Levy picked up the phone. But if we can't have Poch, if he's out of the equation, I would personally say Brendan Rodgers out the one spot, because he's got Premiership experience. He knows the Premiership inside out. Would Daniel Levy?
He hasn't won anything though.
He hasn't. But neither had Poch, neither had Redknapp, and he was. I don't think many of our managers, apart from George Graham, have won anything. I don't know. One day Ramos, I'm sure he'd won something, but. And then of course Mourinho, the person that's won everything. So you can't really use that as a yardstick, can you?
Craig, Christian Gross had won many trophies before joining Spurs.
I was trying to forget him. I wish I'd never brought him up, to be honest with you. That was in the Swiss league, wasn't it, or Austrian or something? When he's Swiss, I mean, I think whoever comes in is going to have to be somebody who. I don't think it's even got to be somebody that stands up to Levy, because he's got that at the moment. You'd think in Mourinho, and if Mourinho can't get them to spend money on who they want, I think the bottom line is we need to clear out. It's exactly like Ian said there. It's a clear out from top to bottom. Even Steve Hitchin, what sort of job is he doing? I don't know the guy, and I hate running people down. And it actually, do you know what? Sometimes I sit here when we were on these chats, and I think, I wonder if any of the Spurs players or anybody from Tottenham was actually watching this, because like Chris, popular channel. I know Sonny used to watch your stadium videos, Chris. If any of them are watching this, it's funny talking about somebody doing their job, basically, because, if I went into work, did my job, and then went on a YouTube channel, and then I saw 4 strangers talking about how I performed, telling I was an idiot, saying I was useless. It is funny, isn't it? So I do try and not run down people, because, as much as I think a lot of the players need to be moved on and just aren't up to it, I'm aware that they could actually, they're human beings and they could be watching us talking. So if there are any Spurs players watching, put a cryptic message in the comments and see if we can work out who you are. But yeah, in all seriousness, I'd have Rodgers, Chris, and that's my final answer.
I'll tell you what, do you not think if we actually got naming rights on the stadium and got 300 million put in, it could make such a difference to the way that next year goes?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think that. Oh, yeah.
No, how are you feeling? Who would you like to see come in if Jose was to depart the club in the summer?
My fellow countryman, Brendan Rodgers, 100%. He did a good job at Liverpool. Nearly did it. Did a fantastic job at Leicester. He has composure. The players seem to play for him. It's not all about him. I think Jose has that type of person that's all about him. It's me. What at Chelsea, he made a statement one time. I am the manager of one of the biggest clubs in the world. What was wrong with saying Chelsea are one of the biggest clubs in the world? You know, I mean, it's all about him. And even though I actually earlier on I was prepared to give him a chance, and when he first came, I thought he was really relaxed, but he does seem to be irritated and going back to his old ways. So Brendan Rodgers for me.
What are your thoughts on the likes of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son possibly leaving in the summer, Noel? Because we keep hearing these same reports. I know it's a lot of media talk, but you know, Harry Kane, he's not getting any younger, and you know, players like this, players of this ability, want to be winning trophies at the end of this season, don't they? Or sorry, at the end of their careers, they want to be showing the trophies to their kids, their grandkids. You know, this is what I've won in my football career. You know, Harry Kane. You know, I've said this on this channel so many times. So many Tottenham Hotspur players. You know, we haven't won a trophy since 2008. You know, Hugo Lloris joined us in 2012. 9 years at the club without trophies. It's very frustrating, isn't it?
It's very frustrating. But as the guy said there, I think the only thing that will save us this year is COVID. I think if this was a normal season and fans were in the stadium and teams had money, I think Harry Kane would be gone 100% in the summer. But, you know, Levy is a very shrewd businessman. He's not going to give him away cheap. You know, I mean, 150 million, maybe more. I mean, tell me one club that would pay that in this current climate. And Kane as well has not got an injury-free season now for about 2 or 3 seasons. If I was investing that type of money, I would want somebody, you know, that you'd be guaranteed to get a full season out of. You know, he does seem to get an injury every season. So I think he'll stay. But you know, I think if things don't improve, definitely next summer he will look to go.
You don't think Manchester City would fancy Harry Kane at 150 million?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, Pep came out and said, you know, they can't afford that type of money. Maybe that's only a smokescreen. I don't know. Is there no such thing as financial fair play anymore? Is that gone? Has it? I don't know. Would Paris play it? I don't know, but. You know, I think
the one thing I would say,
I think COVID will be the factor. The team will not want to spend that money.
But if you could actually get 150 million for Harry Kane, would it not actually be a good move to actually, if you wanted to go, get it, because of the fact that we haven't won anything, even though he's been here.
Okay.
So he's actually been injured virtually every year. Whereas maybe would you not actually be better off to actually sort of like invest in 3 players that can maybe make more of a difference?
I don't think so.
That perspective, Gareth Bale leaves in 2013, and we bought 7 guys, and only 2 of them really turned out to be. Well, Eriksen was successful. Lamela, maybe slightly. The rest of them were all duds. You know,
that's right.
Would you trust somebody to spend 150 million on 5 players?
Yeah, last time they were given 80 million to spend, they bought, as I said before, they bought 80 million pounds worth of overpriced shit, didn't they?
Yeah.
Apart from it and Christian Eriksen. So, you know, Chadley, Kiriches, Paulinho, Soldado. You
Cherokees.
Yeah. I thought, you know, they had a picture on Sky Sports of him walking through the airport with his missus. I thought, where the hell's that? Where's he going? He's coming to Tottenham. You know.
Chadley, another one.
Chadley, yeah, Jesus.
I like Chadley. I thought he was a fairly decent player.
Okay.
Oh, he tried, but yeah, Soldado, I loved him, but he looked like Manuel Munoz on crack. You know, he just wasn't good enough.
There was a pre-season game, I can't even remember who it was against, and I thought to myself, this guy's not a player at all. And it was only pre-season. It was in 2013, and I was proved right. He useless.
Thought that about Harry Winks. Sorry, I wasn't going to run them players. Sorry. Sorry.
Who would you like to see go, Craig? Let's talk about players, because you know you always talk about Harry Winks. Who would you like to see Tottenham Hotspur sell this summer?
Yeah, I always do take the mick out of Harry Winks. I should really stop it, because he's a Spurs lad through and through. He's been at the academy, and I appreciate he's stuck with us. And you know, there is a player in there. I just don't think he's good enough for Tottenham. So Winks would be one of them. I think Sissoko's had his day. He had, you know, he didn't start off well, did he? But he's had a few good seasons, and at one time, dare I say, he was certainly one of the first names on the team sheet. So I'd, wink Sissoko. I think Sanchez, Davinson Sanchez has got to go. Doherty, I think they'll keep. Personally, regardless of what I think, I just think that because they only bought him last year, I don't think Spurs are the sort of club to sell. Wolves might have him back. I don't know, but in an ideal world, in my opinion, if I'm being harsh, I'd get rid of Doherty. Who else? Eric Dyer. I think he's been there too long, and it all comes down to a lot of players have just got too comfortable and been there too long. The ones obviously we're going to get rid of, we know Danny Rose, possibly a toxic influence on a lot of people. From what you hear behind the scenes, I don't know. He's going to be off the wage structure in a couple of months. Cameron Carter-Vickers, obviously he's not at the club at the moment. To be honest, Vinicius, I like the guy, but I don't think he's good enough for Tottenham. And personally, Chris, I'm a fan of Gareth Bale. I think under the right manager, I think we could get a tune out of him, and I'd certainly take up another season of loan Gareth Bale if the deal was right. Personally, I know you probably don't agree, and I know a lot of people don't like the thought of Bale staying another season. It's just a romantic notion, but I'll personally give him another go as long as he performs for the rest of the season if he's given the chance. Because what you got to remember is he had a blinding month leading up to the North London derby, right? People have got short memories. He had a blinding month. He scored goals. He created goals. He really did look like the player that we thought he could be again. He had a bad game in the North London derby, but then again, all of our players had a bad game in North London derby. Let's not forget that. And then he was dropped for the Europa game when we shouldn't. Probably in the back of Mourinho's mind, we shouldn't have needed Gareth Bale that night because we were 2-0 up. He brings him on after 60 minutes. In my opinion, didn't have a brilliant game, but he certainly weren't the worst player on that pitch. And he nearly nicked it for us at the end, don't forget. And then he hasn't had a look in since. So I don't know what the guy's got to do. I'm firmly in agreement with what Harry Redknapp said actually about Gareth Bale. He's one of those players you've got to put your arm around and encourage. And I just don't think Mourinho's got that in him. So I would hold on to Bale. A couple of other players I'd probably get rid of, but the names of his I think Lamella's got to move on. I think he's been there too long. The thing is, Chris, we get rid of 5 or 6, 7 players. Do you have to replace them with 5, 6, 7 players, or are you promoting from the Dane Scarlets, the Divines? You've got Sessegnon coming back. You've got Skippy coming back. So realistically, you get rid of 6 or 7 and you sign 2 or 3 quality players. I think we're probably about there, aren't we? I think with the rest, as long as we hold on to our star sort of players, if you like. I personally wouldn't get rid of Ali. I don't think Levy is going to want to get rid of Ali. Again, I might be wrong. If you can get 30, 40 million for Ali, it would have been a snip. A few years ago, you'd have said, "What? You must be crazy," because we know what he was worth a few years ago. But yeah, I don't know. I think at least 6 or 7 players need to go, Chris. That is a right clear out. I know, but yeah, I can see it happening.
Surely, though, Craig, we need to still replace the likes of Christian Eriksen and an informed Carl Walker,
yes.
an informed Jan Vertonghen.
Yes.
There's a few players there that we still need to replace. Noel, what are your thoughts? Who would you like to see Tottenham sign this summer, and where can Tottenham invest the money? If we do sell players in the summer.
Well, I'd like to see Skip and Sessegnon back. I think if keeping Gareth Bale might actually hamper the progress of Sessegnon. So I think actually I would like Bale go. I think you mentioned the other day, Chris, Fellaini and Boateng. I was absolutely horrified to see that.
God.
Yeah, I mean, was that really true? I mean, was that just a rumor?
There's lots of rumours and reports going on right now, and of course, as we get closer to the transfer windows, more and more names get bandied about. There'll be hundreds and thousands of names. We will all be hearing and reading, so it'll be very interesting. But we all know that this rebuild, players are going to go, players are going to come in. But it's just the quality of the players that come in. They need to be top stars, don't they? Yeah.
Well, I would like. I mean, obviously, I think we need a goalkeeper. I would like to see Nick Pope come in. And I think we need a right back, centre half, and a more creative midfield player. So what is that for? names, I'm not really sure who's out there or who you could get. I liked the Toby Vertonghen partnership because it was a right foot, left foot. So I would like, a good left-footed central defender side to play with whoever he decides is his first choice.
Yeah.
And somebody creative in midfield. I think the person we have missed most of all, I think nobody has mentioned him yet, is Moussa Dembele. I think he was the guy. Going back to 2017, you had Victor Wanyama. You had strength and you had Ericsson. That was a brilliant midfield. Yeah, you probably also had the best back five in the entire league at that time with Lloris, Walker, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, and Rose. So there's a lot of rebuilding to be done there. Couldn't really give you, names, but that's the positions I think we need to strengthen in.
Ian, let's come to you. Now, Jose Mourinho has come out and said that it's going to be very, very difficult for Tottenham Hotspur to finish in the top 4 come the end of the season. He then went on to say that it's going to be very difficult for Tottenham Hotspur to finish in the top 6. Now, where do you realistically see Tottenham finishing this season in the Premier League?
About 8th, which is shocking. About 8th, but that could save us because I don't want to play in the Europa Cup and play on a Thursday night. So from that point of view, maybe have a year out because then you actually ain't going to have much money to spend on star players, are you? If you're actually not getting very much money from your league position. But I can't see us we're nowhere near a top 4 place. We haven't got any impetus to finish off these last few games, have we? To do that, and I don't think there's teams that are coming up on the Everton. We've got to play them in a week's time. That will show a little bit, won't it? Because I can't see us actually beating Everton, and that's sad. That's shocking, really.
Well, the Everton game is on Friday night in 2 days' time.
Yeah.
You've got no confidence at all, Ian, for these last 7 Premier League games that Tottenham can go on a winning run and put in that push for the top 4.
No, there's no drive there. We've got no midfield. I think they've actually bought a load of bit parts of players and thrown them onto a pitch together, and all of a sudden there's no cohesion amongst all of those. And so I think our midfield is shocking, absolutely disgraceful. Ndombele, I don't mean to be rude, but I really don't rate him at all. He just only ever looks pretty against a weaker team, but he doesn't play it. He doesn't make any impact on against a top team. Lo Celso is all left foot, so it's so predictable to actually control the midfield. So from there, all of a sudden, no wonder Harry and Sonny are actually isolated at the top. Yeah, because there's no link, there's nothing there. So I can't see us picking up anything in the last few games. We're not going to get relegated, so that's a bonus.
Wow. Craig, how are you feeling about it, the league position? Can Tottenham challenge for the top 4, or is it completely gone?
Oh, we can. It's still, amazingly, it's still, it's still in the, it's mathematically possible. Of course,
but are we good enough?
Do I think we're going to? Sadly, not. No, not on the last 2 games showing. I think it's been a couple of games since I was last on, Chris, and I was a bit more confident back then because we win all our games at that point, and we finish in the top 4. And of course, everything's changed now. It's that man. It wasn't just the fact we lost to Manchester United; it was the manner in which we lost, and everybody knew the way that was going to go, and the players they don't seem as fit as they used to be. Yeah. I know we've covered that before, but we were strong in the last 10 minutes games. That was what won us games, wasn't it, under Poch? Yeah. And at the moment, it looks like they physically switch off and they mentally switch off in the last 10 minutes of games. It's just not bloody good enough, if I'm honest.
Yeah, did you actually watch the West Ham game though? You actually saw Lingard play the other day, play on, when he's actually there, and you just there and you think, do you know that's what Delhi's meant to be doing?
Yeah. Yeah, when he ain't on the pitch, to be fair, he hasn't been getting on the pitch.
Yeah, but he wouldn't do it. That's the trouble. We need somebody of that sort of somebody a bit more dynamic.
Yeah. I was watching Luka Modric. He's 35. He wasn't running the game, but he looked so confident on the ball. He was trying things. And I was thinking, God, do we miss him? And I never thought we'd get another player like him. And then Eriksen comes along. You know, people slagged off Eriksen, and people still do slag off Eriksen. What a loss he has been. In my opinion, he's one of the biggest losses to this football club over the last 10 years. You know, don't ever for 1 second underestimate what Christian Eriksen did for this football club and the goals he set up and what a quality player he was and the way he could turn games. You know, all right, you can't keep a player that wants to go. Not in that situation. He had 6 months left, and I kind of understand that Levy wanted to get some money for him, you know. But God, what a loss! What a loss he's been, and that he was a very big cog in the wheel, and you can see what it's done. And you know, I've said before, asking Kane to do his job. Don't want to see Kane doing his job. No. I want Kane scoring goals. I don't want him dropping deep and doing job of 2 or 3 players. Concentrate on what he's best at, is scoring goals. Yeah, he's good creating. Should be somebody in there doing it. Mm-hmm. So, where are we going to finish? That was a question, wasn't it? 6th, I think. I still think we're going to finish 6th. But 4, oh dear. Would have rather be out of Europe, possibly, but is that going to matter with some of our players? Has Harry Kane got in his contract, if we don't get European football, can he go for a cheaper fee? I don't know. I don't know if I've read that somewhere. I can't imagine that would be the case, but I don't know.
Craig, if I'd have asked you at the start of the season that Tottenham would be in a Carabao Cup final and, perhaps we even go on to win the competition. I know some people are going to be saying, oh, of course we're not going to win the competition, but I still feel confident that Tottenham will win this cup. And I know you 3 are going to probably look at me as if they're mad. But, you've got to. If I asked you at the start of the season that Tottenham won the League Cup and we finished in 6th place in the Premier League, would you have taken that then?
God, what a question. It's easy to say in hindsight, isn't it? It does sound attractive that we've won something. We've won something. My God, Tottenham Hotspur have won something. You know what I mean?
Well, Jose can go then.
Yeah. Would I have taken it? Possibly. I'm not going to say yes or no. I know that's a get out, but the fact that we all thought we had a really good transfer window in the summer, I'd have been hoping for top 4 this year. So on one half of it, it's great that we won a cup. But on the other half, I'd be disappointed we weren't in the top 4. I'd probably say to you, well, how did that go then? How did the season go? What happened? But then again, we were top for 5 weeks in November. And that seems a lifetime away. And Chris, by the way, I really admire you for thinking we're going to win this. I wish I had your optimism.
Yeah.
I really do.
He has turned back to alcohol lately, though.
No, how are you feeling about this cup? How are you feeling about this cup? Can Tottenham win the Carabao Cup against Manchester City? I know it's going to be a very, very hard game, but at the end of the day, this is why Jose Mourinho has been brought to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club to get us over the line in these competitions. If he can't get Tottenham over the line in these sorts of games, then what?
Well, Chris, in my opinion, we still can finish 6th. And I still think there's something to be salvaged. The 7 games to be played this season. I think it's more important to finish 6th than win the Carabao Cup. If we finish 7th and win the Carabao Cup, you tell me that we're going into some Mickey Mouse tournament, against, inferior teams. I don't think that we should be looking forward to that. Top 6, I would take that and not win the Carabao Cup. I think, I think I remember you might remember this, back in the 90s, there was an Intertoto Cup. And I think this is exactly something similar. I don't even know what it is, but I can't imagine the quality of teams that are in it being very good. And do we want to be traveling to some parts of Russia again on a Thursday night to be playing in front of a few hundred people? I don't think so. So for me, top 6, and forget about the Carabao. Lovely to win it, but if we win the Carabao Cup and come 7th, I think it's a disaster.
Can I just put a question out to you guys? I just thought of somebody else that I wouldn't mind as our manager if it comes to it.
Yeah.
Marcelo Bielsa. what would your guys' thoughts be on him? Because our players would certainly be fitter.
Have we got to learn his language? Have we got to learn Argentinian then?
Yeah. I've never seen him do an interview in English. But remember Pochettino never did an interview in English for the first few months. So I don't know why. Perhaps apparently he can speak English. He's just not very confident with it. So he prefers to give it in Spanish because he doesn't want to be misquoted. I think that's why he does it. But I think Bielsa's a good manager. I really do.
Do you know what, Craig? I think if and when Jose Mourinho goes from Spurs, I'd like to see someone like Rodgers come in, and I think he's got good Premier League experience. I want someone in who's got good Premier League experience, who has proved himself in the Premier League, and I think that Rodgers has done that. You could say that about Jose Mourinho. Look how this has panned out. We've had every sort of manager at Spurs, and this is why I think that when you've got Mauricio Pochettino come in, who's someone who every fan has adored at the football club. And of course, last night seeing him go through to the semi-finals of the Champions League, it just rubs it in even more, doesn't it, that he's not at our football club anymore. Yeah. And then of course you bring in this serial winner, someone who has been there, done it, got the t-shirt, won trophies everywhere he's gone. Not only has he won trophies everywhere he's gone, but he has won a trophy at the first, in his first full season everywhere he's gone. So failure to do that at Spurs, that's why I can't imagine it happening. Yeah, that is exactly why I'm hoping and praying that Spurs do lift this trophy in less than 2 weeks' time.
Chris, can you
finish seventh? Chris, would you be happy with that?
Sorry,
would you be happy for them to win the cup and finish seventh?
Obviously, I want Tottenham to finish in the top four now, always, because I've said this many times. When we've got players like Harry Kane, and that's what worries me. You finish seventh in the Premier League. Are you going to hold on and to players like Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, etc.? And most importantly, are you going to attract good players in the future in the summer transfer window?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if we win that Carabao Cup, we do go through to this Europa Conference League, which is not the Europa League. It is a brand new competition, as I've said. So it's going to be very, very different next year.
But what happens if you qualified for if you qualified for UEFA, for the Europa League, and you win the Carabao Cup? Which has preference?
You will get the Europa League place in, but of course, when Jose's saying about top six is going to be very difficult, it is worrying me because we do need either Champions League or Europa League football at the stadium. In an ideal world, Champions League all day long. It's how you attract the best players. It's going to be very, very interesting. But I'm just pinning all my hopes on Tottenham lifting a trophy. As everyone knows who watches this channel on a regular basis, and people like you, Craig and Ian, who are on this channel regularly as well, I bang on about trophies, not winning trophies in all this time. It's way, way overdue. But to answer your question, Noel, seventh and a trophy, I think that we do need trophies. But seventh is not going to be good enough in the Premier League. And I can't see that, there's all this talk about Jose when he signed his contract. If Tottenham don't finish in that European spot, then perhaps they could let him go. It's going to be very interesting, as I say.
Do you know it's really, really funny watching back, because I watch a lot of just old stuff on YouTube, Tottenham I suppose I watched loads of years back in the past, in the 90s, 80s and stuff like that. But there was one video I watched the other day. I watched the finale at White Hart Lane, and it was almost for me an iconic image. The camera was sort of below Pochettino, and he was looking up. You had the North Stand in the background with the new stadium sort of engulfed and eating White Hart Lane almost, and it was him standing with his arms crossed in the middle of the pitch, and everybody's applauding him. And I remember, if you could have frozen that moment, I'm thinking, this is special. He's building something special here. And it was quite an emotional day anyway, wasn't it? But that shot, I was thinking, please don't leave our club, because at the time there was no thoughts of him getting sacked. It was more like, is somebody going to come in like Real Madrid to tempt him away? And I was thinking, this is the best manager we've had in my lifetime. And it's amazing how quickly football turns. It's amazing.
Yeah, but if you
really.
actually look at how many players that are actually we've been linked with, but we don't see it over the line, and it's a financial issue that stops it. Fernandes, there's shed loads of players, like even people like Morrison. I think we were actually, is it Morrison that's actually at Leicester? Maddison. You know, even people like that we were interested in. There's loads of players, but we want to screw them down on a tight bargain.
It is, you know, you're right.
Wrong.
You're right. We missed out on Bruno Fernandes and then ended up with Jedson Fernandes. We wanted Jack Grealish and we got Jack Clark. You know, I mean, the list is endless. You know, it sounds crazy, but it's true. It's true.
Yeah,
and I like Jack Clark.
Our research is there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
No,
the research is there.
And those players all wanted to come to Tottenham.
Yeah, Fernandes was.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Dybala. How long were we negotiating for Dybala?
Yeah.
You know,
but that was image rights, wasn't it? Wasn't that the image rights on that?
It was, but that was it. All came down. It all came down to money. That's what it comes down to. Don't it always? But you know, take a risk every now and then. Enoch and Joe Lewis, put your money in your hand in your pocket and pull some money out and give it to spend. 20 years we've had of this, and I know you've built us a wonderful training ground and stadium. Now you need the players to play in it. My God, it's so frustrating. It's the same thing over and over and over and over again. That team we could have had if we'd got all those players that we just said there: Dybala, Grealish, Fernandes. Where would we be now?
Imagine if we get somebody like the Emirates, somebody sort of like wealthy that comes in and buys a club. You think what we've got there? We can actually be the envy of everyone in the world. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely wonderful. It's only the playing team that's actually letting it down, really.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? And that is the one thing, you know, that's the one thing we pay to. But, you know, if I was Daniel Levy, I'd get on the phone to Jeff Bezos, to be honest. I don't know. Please,
totally.
Please. Yeah. You know, we will be a little plaything, Jeff. You know, buy us and we'll make you a bit more money. You know, and you can have the Prime Stadium. We'll call it the Amazon Prime Stadium. I don't care what you call it. Just give us, you know, somebody come in that wants to spend a bit of money, please.
Do you know, I just want you all to answer a quick yes or no. Will Tottenham win the Carabao Cup this season? Craig, let's start with you.
No, I don't think we will, Chris. No. Obviously, I want us to with all my heart, but I don't think we will. I really don't. That's not me being defeatist. I'm just being realistic. I just can't see us beating them. I know Leeds did the other week, but I just can't see it at the moment. Depending how we play against Everton and Southampton, to be honest. I might have a chat with you just before the cup final. I just can't see it. I just can't see it at the moment. But stranger things have happened. Yeah, I'll pull that out of the fire.
Now, what about you?
I'm going to go first. Yeah, I think we will.
Oh yes, Ian.
You're inspiring me, Chris. You're inspiring me.
do you know what, Noel? Do you know what? I know people say, you know, I'm absolutely mad about saying that we're going to win a trophy this season, but this is what Jose Mourinho has been brought here for. You know, if Jose's not going to get us over the line in these sorts of games, then what's the point in paying him this extortionate amount of money per season? Yeah. You know, this is what he's here for. This is, you know, do your job. You know, go and win us this trophy. You know, because we haven't won one since 2008. So I don't think that I'm expecting too much. I'm expecting my club to perform, and I'm expecting the players to perform, and most importantly, I'm expecting the manager to do his job and instruct the players exactly how to win this game and get us over that line.
Yeah, but as long as they play in the last 7 games of the season, they've got 8 cup finals now. You know, to get top 6, Mourinho coming out with it's going to be difficult to get top 6. He's warning you. You know, he's telling you that they're not probably going to do it. But, you know, if his players are any good at all, surely to God, we can go on a run. And, you know, to me, it's 8 cup finals, not just 1.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Ian, what about you? Yes or no?
Yes. You like that?
I feel bad.
You're winning, Chris. You're winning, so you are.
3 yeses to 1 no. Wow, I didn't expect that.
Craig is just
the reason why.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Reason why is because of the fact it will be important to Tottenham, and I don't think it will be important to Manchester City. They've got bigger things to challenge for.
I think they'll want to do the quadruple, depending how they get on tonight, because they were losing tonight last I saw. But I don't know how City are getting on now.
And Dyer to penalty in the last penalty shootout, and he scores a winner, and you'll have to take it all back then, guys.
Now that we've sorted that Tottenham are winning the Carabao Cup, let's get on to the top four push. Now, Tottenham are currently 7th in the Premier League. We've played 31, we've won 14, drawn 7 and lost 10. We've got a goal difference of plus 17. We have 49 points. Our next game, as I said, is in 48 hours' time against Everton at Goodison Park, 8 p.m. kickoff. Everton are just 1 point behind us. They are in 8th place. They've played 30. They have a game in hand over us as well. They've won 14. They've drawn 6 and lost 10. They have a goal difference of plus 3. Now, Everton, in the last 6 games, they have won 2, they have drawn 2, and they have lost 2. They are very inconsistent, exactly like Tottenham as well. Craig, let's start with you. Everton v Tottenham in 48 hours' time at Goodison Park in the Premier League. How do you see this game going?
We're going to beat them Friday. Even though they've beat us twice this season, we are going to beat Everton Friday. And I don't know why I'm saying that. I think it's the positivity that's floating around the room at the moment after you three said we're going to win the cup. But honestly, I genuinely think you could call me mad, Chris, but I still haven't given up completely on top 4. I know it's highly, highly unlikely, but I think, well, it's not like, we need to win Friday and we need to win Wednesday to get that momentum going in to the cup final. I think Everton are a bit like us in many ways this season. It's just that we've been in a cup final, or going to be in a cup final. They probably had big aspirations this year, the same as us, and they've pissed it all away the same as we have. They've had easy games they've lost. I couldn't believe that they drew their last game and a game before, and they seem very linked to us in many ways. Just as they've got a chance to push on and go above teams, they bottle it. So it's kind of, I think we're really on a par with Everton at the moment, and I think we'll get a result. I think we'll win 2-1 at Goodison on Friday night. I've got actually a good feeling about it. I don't know why, but I have. But yeah, come on, you Spurs.
Now, how are you feeling ahead of this Everton away game?
Well, one of my best friends is an Everton fan, so it's always a very interesting game. But I go for 2-0 Tottenham. I think we owe them after first game of the season, which we were abysmal really, and the cup defeat really rankled. That was a terrible night. So I go 2-0 Spurs, and I think we will. Genuinely think we'll do it.
No, I tell you must be drinking what I'm drinking, because where has your confidence come from? These last couple of games, the way Tottenham have been playing, you're saying now that we're going to win the cup and we're going to win on Friday night.
Chris, if we don't, put it this way: if they don't, the season is done. It's finished.
Yeah.
What I mean? Because Everton will go above them, a game in hand. This is there's any such thing as a must-win game. This is it. So I mean, if they have any aspirations at all, they have to win this game. So it's up to Mourinho to prove how good a manager he is, but pick the right players. Put Gareth Bale on from the start. Giving Gareth Bale 10 minutes is not going to do anything. He's not even going to get warmed up in 10 minutes. Take him off after an hour if he's not performing. But Gareth Bale is a world-class player, and he deserves better than what he's getting. He had a bad game against Arsenal, and he's been completely discarded since. And I think it's shambolic. I think that's a bad decision. The man, he could just get us there. And I would pick him definitely.
Ian, how are you feeling ahead of this Premier League clash against Everton on Friday?
Positive, mate. Positive. I can feel it all coming from you guys, you see. It's just sort of like, it's just rolling off me now. Now, I actually think we're going to win. I put us down for a 2-0 win. And the reason why, I hope that they play Toby. I don't know what's happened with Toby lately, why he's not around. Because I think that they're actually set up much better to play away from home than they do at home. What's happened is when you're actually playing at home, you're inviting, you've got to invite, Tottenham is set up to actually invite players on and then take them on a break. But what's better away from home, whereas they're expected to attack in at home, and we're just not capable of doing it. But if you actually, I think there's a good player in Sanchez, and I would play Sanchez there with Toby. And I think they're not a bad pair between the two of them. I think there's a player in there somewhere. And I'd stop smirking at me there, Chris. Honest, I can see you don't agree with me there.
How much you had to drink tonight?
It's water. It's
yeah,
water.
There's a bit bloody vodka in
No,
there.
I think they'll win on there, but I don't think we'll win. I think it's our home games that let us down.
It's got to be Toby and Roden for me, centre back. There's no, I don't know what's happened there. That's another thing Mourinho's got wrong. You know, he seems to hold these grudges with players. He's had a falling out with. Yeah. Sometimes you don't like the people you work with. Just get on with it. Do your job. Pick the best players for the right situation.
Unless Toby's actually had a COVID problem, because of the fact that you really don't know, do you? Because they actually keep everything in house. They don't actually say what's going on a lot of the time.
No, he was training. He was training on that Friday, and he was training on the website. I saw the pictures today on the app. So he's been there. He was at the games. He's been at all the games. I think bar
one. Just not playing him.
Something's happened. Something's happened. He's probably said to him, "Why aren't I playing?" And they've had a ruck. And with Delhi, like with Bale. This is the toxic Mourinho, in my opinion, coming out now. And there's right and wrong ways of doing it, and I just think he's got it wrong. I think he's got it wrong. You know, that's not how you get players to perform, and that spreads throughout the squad. We're in a different era now, rather than the 80s and 90s. You can't do things like they used to. You know, that's just the way it is. Certain things I agree with, certain things I don't, but it's just the way it is.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Great. So 7 Premier League games left, and of course the cup final. Are we going to see much more of the likes of Dele Alli and Gareth Bale this season?
I hope so. I hope Bale starts against Everton, and I hope Dele's given a run against Everton. Because what right has any player really, other than your usual starters, got to say that they deserve to be in that team against Everton? Roden, I've been quite impressed with, if I'm honest. I think he's been good. I just think whoever he's been partnered with hasn't played particularly well.
Yeah,
and that's why I'd say, you know, I would go for Hugo, probably Aurier, possibly Tanganga, Roden, Alderweireld, Reguilon, Højbjerg, and Ndombele, Bale, Son, Ali, Kane. See how we get on. Just put them out there. See how we go. And Lucas. Sorry, that'd be 12. Perhaps we're sitting Lucas as well.
You could get him sneaking up a one or two.
He won't have a count up, will he? Let's go for 12 on the pitch. Might have a chance of winning. Yeah, might have a chance. But yeah, no, I'll go with that front four, the one that started against Fulham, and see how we get on. To be honest, because we got nothing to lose. Let's face it. Might as well go for it.
No, let's come to you. Steven Bergwijn wasn't even in the squad for the last game. What do you think's happened to him?
I've no idea. Again, another player's been totally discarded. You know, and Craig is right. You know, he discards people, and I don't know what's going on there. You know, the guy. I'm not a massive fan of his, but you know, he's a hard-working guy, and but something has happened. Something has happened with Toby. Seems to be completely thrown under the bus. I don't think you'll see Dele Alli having much of a feature for the rest of the season. I don't think, you know, he's going to play him at all, to be quite honest with you. But Steven Bergwijn, no idea what's happening there. I was hoping you might know something or tell me.
No, we can't, I'm afraid. It's one of those mysteries. You know, you've got other players in front of Steven Bergwijn, and I just don't think Jose fancies him at the moment. And that is the real proof of it.
It looks like that. Yeah, it definitely looks like that.
Ian,
but you imagine having a different manager in there. Those players, after those players, there's good players in a lot of them, but it's just how you bring those players out. And it's Harry's right. You've got to put your arm around to give them a cuddle, talk them through, bring them on. And that's what it is. And that's where it's actually all falling apart at the moment, isn't it? Sorry, I interrupted you then, mate. Sorry.
You say that though, Ian, because, you know, we talk about Jose Mourinho's record about, you know, winning all these trophies. You know, his man management skills, we saw it in the Amazon documentary. You know, for some people that weren't a big fan of Jose Mourinho coming to Tottenham, I feel that he turned a lot of Tottenham fans around, you know, and people gave him a chance after watching that Amazon documentary.
Yeah.
But all of us feel that he's not that manager to put his arm around players and make sure they're okay and be that sort of father figure like Pochettino was. You know, they're very different managers, Pochettino and Jose Mourinho. But surely you don't be that successful by being so hard, do you?
Well, no, I actually think there's actually loads of. I mean, I actually have managed staff myself, and there's loads of different ways. You've got to find out what each person's trigger is, and to actually then help. For some person, it'll be a cuddle. For some person, it'll be an incentive. It'll be a weekend away. It'll be a right. Well, you haven't got to play on Boxing Day this year. If you can get 4 goals before Christmas, you know, that sort of business. So you've just got to do all of that. I can remember reading an article from Harry Redknapp, and he was saying, right, well, Gareth Bale, he's whinging about being hurt all the time. So he give his defenders the instruction to kick 7 balls out of him and don't help him up again afterwards, you know? And that worked for Gareth Bale, right? So you've just got to find out what each player's trigger is and sort of like get them to improve and develop. That's what management is about, surely.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't think there's any one way of doing it, but I don't think Josie's is my way or the highway, isn't it? That's the trouble. He's a legend in his own lifetime.
Yeah. Right. So all you three are going for Tottenham. Well, Craig, you're going for a Tottenham defeat in the cup final. Noel and Ian are going for a cup win. I'm going to go for a cup win. And the Everton game. Just remind me of your score predictions, Craig. What did you say?
I think to 2-1. I think I said, yeah, we're going to win. We're going to win anyway. Yeah.
2-1. And Noel, did you say 2-0?
2-0, yeah.
2-0. And Ian?
I think I said 22-0, didn't I? No, I went for 2-0. I actually think it will be 2-0 on there. Good old Sonny. Well, I love that boy.
I'm sorry to ruin it, but I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
Right,
yeah,
okay. But you're going to be banned for the next.
You've said the last 3 games, I think.
I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, but you know, the cup final, I'm going for a win. So let's hope that you know, let's hope obviously that Tottenham get the win on Friday night against Everton and climb up that Premier League table, because it doesn't seem right looking at the Premier League table with Tottenham not in that top 4 place. Certainly with West Ham sitting in 4th, it's just not right for me.
No.
Can I say though, Chris, that after all the conversations that we've had, we really probably all of us hope that Tottenham do get top 4. And we'd love to think there was some fabulous football in the next 7 games.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me, all 3 of you. Ian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care, mate. I did
Craig,
that because the footballers do it. Yeah.
And Noel, thank you so much for joining us for the first time. Delighted to have you on, and let's hope that you can come back on when we're talking about a number of Tottenham victories.
I'll be delighted, Chris. Absolutely thrilled to bits to be on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed it, everyone.
Thanks very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, and come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.